Click like and subscribe because you need to see this. Dr. Mashazi ran Ekurhuleni from 2016 to 2025. 9 years. Top administrator. Most powerful person in the city after the mayor. And for 9 years, the Metro Police became a criminal enterprise. Women raped. Blue lights given to gangsters. Murders covered up. And she did nothing. Her excuse? I was waiting for a report. Yesterday, on day 1, she was evasive. She was on her phone. She was putting on lipstick. Today, the commissioners are done playing games. Watch what happens when Justice Madlanga destroys this pathetic excuse. Dlamini, roll the first clip.
I did not get a report. You've said that a good few times, even this morning, I did not get a report. I don't understand that. You are the leader, you are the top administrator. You are aware of what is happening around you, even if it is at the level of allegations. I just don't understand why you would sit back and wait for a quote-unquote report. Do you want to comment on that?
I want to comment by saying that obviously it's like an oversight that I could have reported the case to IPID so that I can get a proper report and discipline.
And not just that, not just that. You are an administrator within the local sphere of government. You don't have to have a report from an outside, but for you to act, you must always get a report from IPID. That cannot be so. You are part of a sphere of government, which is autonomous. You said so yesterday. So why must you want to get something from another sphere of government? Police operated the national sphere of government. Why must you first get that before you act, get a report from IPID? I don't understand that.
Yeah, maybe I did not come out clearly in terms of the processes that before I can act against a senior manager, I must get a report.
From whom?
Here, this,
from whom?
A complaint, a formal complaint.
At the time, in 2020, did you not become aware at the time that members of the EMPD had protested? On the day the protest took place, or at the latest, the very next day, did you not get to know that members of the EMPD had protested?
I was aware.
You were aware. What report were you waiting for then?
Remember,
Why don't you get up and go find out what exactly the protest was about and see whether there was a need for you to act or not? Why do you just sit and fold your arms?
A protest in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, these Ekurhuleni law enforcers adamant that they must be heard. Officers accuse their managers of protecting the chief of police, who they claim was involved in 2 drunk driving car crashes.
We're going to demand the suspension of Mapiyeye because he was involved in an accident, and then there should be an investigation conducted, and then he should be subjected to a disciplinary hearing. That is the first issue. The second issue is that our members in the VIP protection, they get the allowance of 40,000 each member on top of their salaries, that which amounts them to 880,000 per annum. So we want to know the name of the allowance, because on the allowance issue, there should be a central bargaining committee whereby there's SALGA, organized labor, then name of the allowance. If they agree, then it will be brought into a collective agreement.
The city says it will investigate the issues raised in the memorandum.
We have got a process, an administrative process in the city, which will see this memorandum be written there. Every issue shall then detailed look into, and a response will be given. Look, All allegations that are brought forward, they are only there to be investigated and investigated thorough.
Madlangacommission, SABC News.
For some report that must come from I don't know whom.
Remember, I indicated, Commissioner, that the person who took a report from the protesters was a political head. And I have indicated that my hands are tied in terms of politicians. He promised that he's going to submit that report to the administration, of which he did not. And I want to actually maybe concede that waiting for a report did not help me, and waiting for a report made me not to act or implement consequence management from the chief of consequence management on the chief of police.
The complaint was not by politicians, so you did not have to depend on politicians to get to the bottom of what all of this was about. So you cannot blame the politicians for not having brought the memorandum to you, can you?
No, I can't.
This is where she gets destroyed. Did you see that face? That arrogant look when she says, "I did not get a report like that's an acceptable answer"? Justice Madlanga destroyed her. You are the leader. Why would you sit back and wait? And she has nothing. She stutters. She blames politicians. Then she finally admits, maybe conceding that waiting for a report did not help me. Maybe. 9 years of doing nothing, and she says, maybe it didn't help? This woman is unbelievable. That dismissive head shake, that irritated tone, like how dare they question her. This is the face of someone who collected millions in salary while Rome burned. And it gets worse because she claimed a politician promised to submit a memorandum, but never did. So the commissioners asked the obvious question, what did you do to follow up? Watch her completely collapse here. Dlamini, play the next clip, where she admits she did absolutely nothing. Please, guys, click the like button and subscribe.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. You, in response to the question that the Chair just posed to you, and I understood you to say the politician upon whom the memorandum was served promised to submit the report to the administration. Is that what you said?
Correct, Commissioner.
By report, do you mean the memorandum itself, or a report that he or some structure within the city would compile for submission to the administration? What exactly did he promise to submit?
He promised to submit the memoranda because he indicated on that video that the allegations must be investigated.
When was this promise made?
He promised on the video that he was going to submit the report to the administration being me as the administrative head. That memorandum, and it never reached my office.
When did you learn of this promise?
I beg your pardon?
When did you learn of the promise being made?
On that day when he took a memorandum.
The date of the day of.
Yeah.
And what steps did you take to ensure that he delivers on his promise?
I did not take any steps. I was waiting for the memoranda, and I took the commissioner, the chairperson's view that I did nothing to implement consequence management.
No, I doubt you can implement any consequence management on political appointees. Am I correct? Against whom are you going to implement consequence management?
I can through counsel. Remember, if there are allegations and there is that memoranda in front of me, I was expected to write a report to mayoral committee that these allegations should be investigated, and that report will eventually go to council to be entertained, and council will make a determination that these allegations be investigated.
Do you understand the magnitude of your failure to at least pursue a promise you know was publicly made regarding these important and disturbing issues? Do you appreciate, if you accept that you would have been a trigger for the council to investigate this particular politician and take steps, and you fail to do so, you just so flippantly, you come across as so flippantly saying, I take the point, oversight on my part. Is that how you intend to communicate it, or am I misunderstanding you?
Well, I can't comment on that. I've
Okay.
made a point that I failed to discipline Chief of Police in terms of council processes and the code of conduct for senior managers. I also accept the fact that I failed to play an oversight role on him as an HOD.
And I say, because you, 5 years later in 2025, before the Madlanga Commission, precisely what Chief Mapiyeye did 5 years ago, in circumstances where you had certain failings. And we must accept that you do so because you seriously want those issues to be addressed? Or are you just raising them to show up Chief Mapiyeye and his shortcomings? What is the purpose, really?
That such issues be investigated or
By
be
who?
addressed. Remember, there's an issue about political interference, infiltration of criminals within the system. There's also an issue about political interference. There's also an issue about political killings.
Yes.
And I think, and also defeating the end of justice. I don't know
Yes.
how to put it legally. So we need to showcase that police officers themselves, at some point, they do defeat the ends of justice, and that must be looked into, especially where cases are reported and nothing happened on them, or no investigation was done, or no consequences was implemented. We should actually showcase and assist the Commission.
I did not take any steps. Her words, not mine. A politician made a public promise to investigate serious allegations in the Metro Police, and Dr. Mashazi admits she did nothing to follow up. Nothing. Zero. And when the commissioner asks if she understands the magnitude of her failure, she gives this weak non-answer about council processes. The commissioner calls her out perfectly. You come across as so flippantly saying, I take the point. Flippant. That's exactly what she is. Arrogant. Dismissive. Like accountability is beneath her. This woman ran a city, and she could not even pick up a phone to follow up on a promise about police corruption. Unbelievable. But now let me show you the most infuriating part. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, wrote a detailed report in September 2023. It said, Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi acted unlawfully with full intent of corruption, fraud, blue lights for gangsters, everything documented. That report landed on Mashazi's desk. Watch what she admits she did with it. Dlamini, roll the IPID report confession. This is absolutely sickening.
Yes. So you're saying you hadn't really looked at the scoring sheet properly by the time you made the statement there, and was accordingly recommended for appointment. Where did you get that he was recommended for appointment? Who told you that?
It is according to the report from HR, the one that is attached, that is being signed by Mr. Maseko.
Which report is that, ma'am?
Where is it? I think it's IM 20.
But IM 20.
IM 20. This IM 20 or
No,
yeah, the appointment letter.
Yes, the appointment letter is addressed to Mr. Mkhwanazi. It is not a report, and it doesn't contain a recommendation for his appointment.
Maybe in terms of the crafting and the format of the appointment letter, we should actually accordingly look at raising issues like he was a recommended candidate and you were a recommended candidate and this is your appointment, you are duly appointed. I think this form falls short of that kind of information.
Yes. And please correct me. My expectation, my assumption is that there would have been a recommendation to you as the appointing person, and I know you were on leave in this period, but ordinarily, if you had been in office, and you would have received a recommendation from HR to appoint him.
Correct.
You say you were on leave, so it would have come to whoever was acting in your position, recommending the appointment.
Correct.
And then you would either accept or reject it, right? Whoever was in office in this case accepted the recommendation, if assuming the recommendation was made properly, accepted the recommendation and then issued this letter of appointment. What I'm discussing with you is in your statement, you say a recommendation for his appointment was made. And my question about where do you get that is important because of the controversy that has been read to you from the statement of Chief Mapiyeye that the process was not completed. So you say there was a recommendation to appoint him. And I would like you to say to us, where do you get this statement from? Did you see a recommendation? Is that why you say a recommendation was made? Is it because you saw a recommendation?
Thank you, Chair. As we indicated that the preparation for this bundle and this testimony that was prepared over a year, and the testimony was given over 2 weeks, and we were only given 2 days to prepare our files. I think we fell short of including some of the information or responding properly to the issues raised. And I take your point that there are a lot of gaps in terms of our statement. And I also appreciate the fact that the Commission has actually apologized in terms of the prejudice that we suffered in terms of the timelines of preparing our documentation in response to the allegations that were made.
No, but Ms. Mashazi, what you say in paragraph 131 is not a function of, it's not a gap and it's not a function of you didn't have enough time to prepare. You say, you make a positive statement. A recommendation was made that he be appointed. You say that. You could only say that because you saw a recommendation. That's the one possibility. The only other possibility is you make a statement that has no basis whatsoever. In fact, you didn't see a recommendation. You assumed. You may have assumed, or you just made it up. This is not a function of you didn't have time. You either know or you don't know that there was a recommendation. It's that simple. But if what you've just said now is your best answer, I really would not want to press you any further.
I beg your pardon, can you repeat your last statement?
If what you've just said now is the best answer to my question about where did you get that there was a recommendation, if you say your answer is you didn't have time to prepare and so there are gaps and you can't take it any further, I will leave it at that.
Correct, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
She made it up. She claimed Mkhwanazi was recommended for promotion. But when pressed, she admits, maybe I did not see a recommendation. The commissioner destroys her. You assumed or you just made it up. This is not a function of you didn't have time. You either know or you don't know. And she has nothing. She promoted a man facing criminal charges based on an assumption. Or more accurately, she protected him deliberately, and now she's lying about it under oath. Look at her face when she gets caught. That's the face of someone who ran out of excuses. But even then, no remorse, no apology, just mumbling about time constraints. This is Dr. Imogen Mashazi, 9 years as city manager. Women came to her reporting rape by Chief Jabulani Isaac Mapiyeye. Multiple women, over years. She did nothing. called it hearsay, started an empowerment program while women were being raped. IPID reports about corruption landed on her desk. She promoted the criminals instead of prosecuting them. Metro police officers protested about the rot. She waited for reports that never came. And through it all, that same arrogant face, that same dismissive tone, that same excuse, I did not get a report. Justice Madlanga said it perfectly. You are the leader. You are the top administrator. Why would you sit back and wait? That is the question for every public servant in South Africa right now. Why are you waiting? Why are you doing nothing while people suffer? Dr. Mashazi retired with full benefits, walked away with her pension. The women she failed are still suffering. The criminals she protected are still there. And she sits before that commission looking irritated that anyone would dare question her. South Africa, this is what failure looks like. This is what happens when we tolerate arrogance and incompetence in our leaders. Share this video. Make it viral. Let every public servant see what happens when you fail the people. Let them see her face. Let them see her excuses crumble. Because if she walks away with just a bruised ego, we have learned nothing. Like and subscribe if you believe in accountability. We need to keep exposing this rot. Dr. Imogen Mashazi is not unique. She's just the one who got caught. How many more are sitting in offices doing nothing right now? They think we're not paying attention. Let's prove them wrong.